Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into Guru Purnima, a day that's about so much more than just a festival. We're talking about a deep exploration of what it means to be a teacher, a student, and to find the light of knowledge itself.
So let me start by asking you a question. Who or what dispels your darkness? Just think about that for a second. Hold on to that thought because that very question is the key to understanding what a guru really is. All right, to really get what this day is all about, we first have to unpack the word guru and get right down to its ancient roots.
You see, traditionally, a guru was way more than just a teacher. They were a respected master. And if you were an aspiring student, you wouldn't just show up for a class. No, you'd often go live with your guru, serving them in exchange for knowledge. It was this total immersion. You weren't just learning facts, you were absorbing wisdom through every part of daily life.
And here's the really cool part. The word guru itself is this beautiful, powerful metaphor. It's actually made of two Sanskrit syllables, gu, which means darkness or ignorance, and ru, which means the dispeller or the remover. So a guru is, quite literally, the one who removes the darkness of ignorance. I mean, what an incredible idea.
So how does this amazing concept grow into a whole festival? Well, that story takes us all the way back to the very first teacher.
The tradition says that this day, which always falls on the full moon, is when the very first guru, the Adi Guru, shared his profound knowledge with the 7 great sages, known as the Sapta Rishi. This was it. This was the original download of wisdom, the moment that kicked the whole thing off. And what's really fascinating is that this day of reverence isn't just confined to one faith. While it has deep roots in Hindu tradition, it's also a really important day for Buddhists and for some Jains. Each tradition uses it to celebrate the lineage of their own enlightened teachers.
So that brings us to the next question. How do people actually observe Guru Purnima today? Well, the ways people celebrate range from these ancient formal rituals all the way to really simple personal gestures.
So, traditionally, the day is marked with special ceremonies or pujas at temples, reciting scriptures and doing charitable acts. And there's this one particularly unique tradition called Paduka Puja. It's the symbolic worship of the guru's sandals. I mean, think about that. It's this incredible gesture of humility and respect for the path that the teacher has walked. But beyond all the formal rituals, when you strip it all down, the real heart of the day is just gratitude. It can be as simple as a heartfelt thank you, or a small token of appreciation to literally anyone who has taught you something important. And that idea of personal gratitude, it really opens up a much, much bigger way of thinking about what a guru can be. The concept doesn't have to be limited to just one person. In fact, the philosophy says that teachers are everywhere, if we're just willing to open our eyes and see them. There's this one quote that just nails it perfectly. It shifts the whole focus, right? It's not about finding the one perfect teacher. It's about becoming a perfect student, someone who's open to lessons from any source at any time. Seriously, think about it. We can learn about consistency from the sun and generosity from the rain. We can find lessons in the steady flow of a river or by watching animals. Even a person who's giving you a really hard time can be a guru, teaching you patience or maybe resilience. Each one in its own way helps dispel a little bit of our darkness. So let's bring all of this back to you and how you can connect with the spirit of this day. Because as it turns out, there might even be a cosmic element at play here. Okay, this part is pretty wild. Since Guru Purnima is always a full moon day, the gravitational pull from the moon is at its strongest. And the idea is that this tidal pull actually has a subtle effect on the fluids in our own bodies, especially in our spine and brain, making us naturally more receptive to learning and insight. So, how can you tap into this potential? It's actually pretty simple. First, just take some time to be meditative, to quiet your mind. Second, focus on radiating positive thoughts. And finally, just be consciously, actively grateful for all the lessons, big and small, that the world has offered you. So I'll leave you with this to think about. If you view the entire world as your master guru, take a moment and reflect. What lesson has it offered you today?